Oh yeah, it is.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. Welcome to the Mindset Mastery, our weekly group meetings. I'm your host, Forrest Folan. I'm so thankful that you're here with us today. Whether you're listening in as a fly on the wall or you're joining in the conversation, I hope you join in on the conversation. It's going to be a really great one. Today's all about habits, hacking your habits to bring about success in what area you want to in your life, whether it's fitness, whether it's finance. Maybe it's some type of bad habit that you want to break and you want to turn into a good habit. So, Kathy Cook, what's an example of a bad habit that somebody might want to break?
Eating sugar.
Eating sugar. Yes, yes. So sugar is one of the most addictive substances. They say it's right up there next to heroin. That's how addictive sugar is. Can you just stop it? Or can you replace it with some other type of habit? And that's what we're going to talk about today. Any kind of habit. It could be biting your nails. It could be smoking a cigarette. I used to have a habit of cracking my neck when I was tense, and it was bad for my joints. So we'll get into that. And you guys can all see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So this says right here, your life and everything in it is a reflection of your mindset. Does that sound correct?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. So who are we? If you're brand new with us, we are Mind, Body, Spirit Transformation Center, Way of Life. We offer fitness boot camps, mindset training, and amazing community. We've been featured on Oprah Winfrey and Deepak Chopra's newsletter. We've helped transform thousands of lives. We've been reviewed over 50 times on Yelp with 5-star reviews. We have clients in over 14 countries that have done our detox program. We're now consulting over 200 gyms worldwide from all throughout the 50 states and also France, the UK, and Australia, Mike. And then we're Fortune 50 health and wellness consultants and international best-selling authors. For me, these are some of the things that I've been able to do. Great stuff. I love what I do because I get to work with amazing people like yourself who are on this call tonight. So thank you for being here. Before all that, I was actually using drugs, alcohol. I was homeless, hopeless, and lost. So if I can dig myself out of that and form new habits, surely you can too. So I hope to be an inspiration to you. And because I was able to develop new habits and a new mindset along with those habits and a new belief structure about myself, I was able to do some amazing things and become the person I wanted to become. So somebody who's positive, somebody who can uplift others, somebody who can be a change agent in the community. So that's who I've become as a result. So every week, what we're going to do is we're going to have a 2-part discussion. The first is a weekly training and action assignment. So that way you walk away with a little homework assignment where you can take an action and make something happen in your life. And then it's really a battery recharge where you get to get motivated, not just motivated like hurrah, hurrah motivated, but actually motivated to take action. So 15 to 25 minute deep dive into a theme topic. It'll usually include something like a daily rituals technique, healthy habits, case studies, how to succeed trainings, interviews, you name it. And then the action assignment will come at the end. And then we'll go into a part 2 and we'll open up a live Q&A, which is my favorite part of the discussion, where I can hear from you. You get to give feedback on what your takeaway was or ask any questions that you want. So in today's epic training, we're covering hack your habits, how to form habits that will effortlessly get you to your goals. And what I mean by effortlessly is like brushing your teeth effortlessly. Yeah, it takes work to get up out of bed, to put the toothpaste on the toothbrush, to sit there for 3 to 5 minutes brushing your teeth and hopefully flossing. It takes some work, but it's effortless. Okay, it's effortless in the fact that you don't really have to think about it. It's already mapped inside of your mind, in your subconscious mind, and in your habits and behaviors. So it's an effortless process. And that's what I want for you in all the realms of your life, being it saving more money or exercising on a regular basis or stopping your habit of eating sugar and eating maybe some healthier foods in the process. So get rid of the old habits, time to get in with the new. So bad habits that I personally replaced, I was making a list. I was like, man, this paper isn't long enough for all the bad habits I used to have and that I replaced. So bad habits are like ripping out the weed, but good habits, you can't just rip out the weed. The weed's going to grow back. So you got to replace it with something nutritious and delicious, like that carrot that you see right there in that picture. So think about every bad habit that you take out, have a replacement for it, okay? And we'll get into how to do that in a second. But some of my bad habits were smoking, and I replaced it with breathing exercises that I learned from my martial arts training. I had a bad habit of going to the bar and drinking alcohol, and I changed that to going to the gym and working out. I used to have a habit of drugs, to self-medicate, and then I turned to meditation. So that was a really good habit in its place. I used to have a habit of negative fear-based thinking, and I changed that to gratitude-based thinking. I used to have a habit of being scarcity-minded. There was only a certain amount, and we had to be very competitive to get ours, right? But I switched that to the habit of an abundance mindset, where there's enough for everybody. There's always enough. The universe will always bring more than enough. I used to have a habit of watching the news first thing in the morning. That was a horrible way to start my day. Now I have a habit of reading self-development books and getting excited about making a change in my life. I used to have a habit of hanging out with people who complained, people who gossiped and complained. Now I have a habit of hanging out with creators like yourself here with us on this Zoom call, people that are creating their life. It's a lot more fun to hang out with people like that. I used to have a habit of going to fast food. I would go to Carl's Jr. back in the days. They had a saying, if it didn't get all over over the place, it didn't belong in your face. And I would just mac down these huge hamburgers, just sloppy fries, Coke. It was a horrible habit. But I replaced that with cooking healthy foods, right? And then I was drinking soda and energy drinks nonstop. And I replaced that with water and drinking sparkling water. So think about the habits that you want to replace with your bad habits as we go through this and take some notes. Dr. Sri Kumar Rao, he's a world-renowned success and leadership coach. He said, if you are using willpower to obtain a goal, you are committing an act of violence against yourself. An act of violence. You are harming yourself if you're trying to use just willpower. When I heard him say that, I was like, you know what? He's totally right. Every time I've used willpower in the past, I've always struggled, and I've always tried to force, and I've always tried to, beat myself up about grinding to this goal. And it was always this thing where I never felt like I could achieve, and I always felt like a failure because it wouldn't work out. So he's absolutely right. Excellence is a habit in itself. And Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, is not an act, but a habit. So it's that repetition of what we do on a continuous basis that creates excellence in our life, in whatever realm of our life. So here's an interesting statistic. Only 8% ever reach their New Year's goals. Only 8%. That's super pathetic, right? And New Year's is right around the corner, isn't it? How many people do you know are already talking about their New Year's resolutions? They're going to stop eating chocolate, or they're going to start going to the gym, or they're going to start meditating on a regular basis. What is the percentage? Only 8%. So how do we stop that pathetic 8% outcome and flip that script? So if you think about the conscious mind versus the subconscious mind, the conscious mind has a speed of impulse of 120 to 140 miles per hour. That's the speed of the conscious mind. The subconscious mind travels over 100,000 miles per hour. That's how fast the speed of impulse is. I know when I did martial arts training, when you're first learning how to punch, you are telling your body what to do, right? But when you learn how to punch and you've thrown thousands of punches subconsciously, it just comes out. You don't even have to think about it. Before you think about it, it's already there. And that's the subconscious mind, the speed of the subconscious mind. The bits per second are 2,000 of the conscious mind. The bits per second of the subconscious mind, 400 billion. So that's the information that's traveling. So much information travels in the subconscious mind. So the control of perception and behavior, what we're talking about here, habits, we're talking about behavior, right? Conscious mind, 2 to 4% of your behavior, of your daily actions, of your daily habits. Your subconscious mind controls 96 to 98% of your habits, your actions that you do each and every day. So that's why we got to drop things into our subconscious to get them to work for us and make it effortless, just like brushing our teeth. Okay. So And we also want to consider avoiding the snapback effect. This is what we see in fitness all the time. People that change their life, but they don't change their habits. Eventually, the habits will come back and they'll snap back and change your life back into how you used to be. We see this in fitness, like I said, all the time. When people come in and try to do a challenge for just 6 weeks, they lose 20 pounds, but then they say, oh, I'm at the top of the mountain. I'm good. I've reached my goal. I'm going to walk away. What happens is they never form the habits, the subconscious habits that will continue to get them to stay at their goal and maintain that weight forever. And that's why we always suggest to continue training, whether it's at Way of Life or somewhere else. You got to continue with your habit. Okay. So a great book, The Power of Habit, Why We Do What We Do in Life and Business. It's by Charles Duhigg, I believe his name is, Charles Duhigg. So you see this habit loop, right? Can you guys see that? The habit loop. So the habit loop are these three things. The cue, right? The cue is the situational trigger that is based on the reward that you're seeking, okay? So a cue is the first step in that habit loop. That's the blue one. The second one is the routine. The routine is the physical or emotional action, all right? Emphasizing the word action that you take to obtain the reward, which is number 3, the reward. The satisfaction you seek by following the routine. So for example, and I'll go into some of them. So this one right here is an example of how to break a bad habit and form a new good habit in its place. So you see on the one side, the cue is I'm kind of bored, I'm sitting around and doing nothing. The routine is let me go grab a drink, let me go ahead and grab a glass of wine. The reward is, I'm relaxed. I feel good now, right? What we want to do is we want to keep the cue and then get to the same reward of feeling good, but insert a new routine that's more positive in its place. So instead of drinking alcohol, the craving for the relief that you need, it's a conversation. It's an in-depth conversation with a friend, okay? Or whatever routine that you can think of. Maybe it's going to the gym. So in that case, the cue is the same. You're like, I'm feeling kind of bored, feeling kind of empty inside, feeling kind of blah, need to do something. Instead of drinking, we just switch the routine to now it's, let me get an in-depth conversation with a friend, or let me go and work out, or let me go take a run. So we want to switch out the routine and get to the same reward, where at the end you're saying, I feel good now. I feel great about the routine or whatever it is that I was doing. So that's how you would change the habit, put something else in its place. My daughter, don't be too loud because she's downstairs. She's probably listening. So shh, don't be too loud. She likes to eat Takis, which are poisonous chips. I highly recommend not eating these, and I highly recommend that to her all the time. But she gets bored, right? She's sitting around bored, she's watching TV, or she's just feeling blah. And Takis give her this, maybe it's the monosodium glutamate, it gives her this high, makes her feel real good to eat a bag of Takis. And the reward is she becomes happy, right? So what would you say would be a change in the routine that she could do? How can I break my daughter of this horrible Takis routine? What do you think? Anyone? What would I have to do? What do you think? Let's hear from you. Is it Cynthia? You want to go? Cynthia!
Well, I have the same issue, so I want someone to tell me what to do as well.
So I love this. You can be a light unto yourself, Cynthia. I want to give you the power to understand how to do this and how to do it in the moment so that you can change any routine that you want or any bad habit into a good habit. So think about that for a second. If you're feeling bored, you're feeling kind of blah, and then you go and eat some type of a pleasure food or a comfort food and it makes you happy, what can we do? We can't change the cue. You're going to feel blah or bored, and we can't change the reward because we want you to feel happy. But what's the routine? What can take its place, in other words?
Anything.
What's that, Cynthia?
Honestly, that's the $1 million question.
Yeah, the $1 million question, right? So let's have maybe Kathy. Kathy, what would you say she could do?
I'm not really sure this is what you're looking for, but my first thought was maybe eating like mini carrots so that she still gets a crunch, and or popcorn without butter, you know, like healthy popcorn.
That's great. Yeah,
I don't
that's
know. I mean,
excellent.
she's still going to be watching TV, so I'm just trying to think of like other things you can do while you're watching TV. So it's not like she's going to call a friend or.
Yeah, and, you know, and Takis is like it's like a Latin thing, right? It's like a Latino culture snack, right? Takis. And then
Most definitely.
another Latino culture snack though is jicama with lime juice, salt, and hot sauce. Have you guys ever tried that? Jicama or cucumber or
Mango.
mango, you know, with tahini,
Mhm.
like that would be a big improvement, right? You wouldn't have as many calories, you wouldn't have as many additives, it wouldn't be as junk, and you get some nutrient value in that type of a snack. So yeah, you want to replace it with something. You're right. You're right on point, Kathy. I think you're right on point. You could also replace it with, you know, an apple and some nut butter. Or you can replace it with, yeah, Martha. You have one?
Oh, hi. I was just going to say, I think sometimes the cue is a little bit more specific than just a feeling or an emotion, like feeling bored. Sometimes it's an action. So sometimes you sit down and watch TV and you go, why are my hands empty? Why am I not making this movement towards my mouth? And so an easy way to do that, I think, is to maybe get up and walk away from the TV and do something else. If you're bored and from that emotion you go to the action of television and then that doesn't feel complete, and then the Takis step in. I think.
Yeah, because there's like multiple levels where you can go through the process. You can do a simple change out with the Takis, or you can look at the underlying factor of being bored. Like Martha was going a little bit deeper and saying, you know, why am I bored? Can I change the action that I'm doing? Can I actually remove myself from that type of action? The cue can definitely be tied to something like that. Like for me, the cue to drink a glass of wine would be just getting off of work and coming home after a long, stressful day. Who here can identify with that, right? Get through a long, stressful day, and you want to come home, you want to have either alcoholic beverage or a nice big meal, right? Some people go to their gym right after work, right? And that becomes something where they're going to the gym, they're getting their workout, then they're habit stacking. Habit stacking is putting another good habit right on top. So maybe a protein shake comes right after, and then they go and they have maybe dinner with their wife and kids, or husband and kids, some kind of family event. And then a bad habit might be to go and watch TV for 4 hours. A good habit might be to get out the paints and paint with your kids and have an art night like I did the other night. It felt really great. We bought a bunch of paint supplies at Michael's, and instead of watching TV, like a lot of times we do, we switched that up, and we've been having art supplies out here on the kitchen table. And for the past few nights, actually, we've been busting out the paints and getting out all the art supplies and painting together. It's been really awesome. So much more connection has happened. It's so much more fun, and you're not just wasting time away in front of the television. So think about all the different ways that you can improve the use of your time. We spend so much time on social media, so much time on television, so much time wasted that we could be improving ourselves, boosting our energy levels, taking care of our body, mind, and spirit. There really is a lot there, you guys. So think about the time that you're using in the course of a day. I recommend trying what's called a TikTok. A TikTok is basically like a what's it called when the IRS comes in? An audit. But it's not like that kind of audit. So you're auditing your time. So a TikTok would be just take a journal and write down everything that you do from 6 a.m. when you wake up. What do you do first? What do you do next? What do you do by 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 12? What are you doing with your time? 5 p.m. when you get off work, 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m., 9 p.m., 10 p.m. before you go to bed. What do you do with your time? And when you can reflect on that and just do it for like 3 days, you'll see where your time is going and how much time we actually waste during the course of the day. We all have the same 1,440 minutes. Okay, 1,440 minutes that could be put to great use. And the last thing we want to do is waste our time, squander our time. I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk the other day, and he said the biggest thing that drives him is regret. And he says, go to a nursing home, go to an old folks home, interview the people there. 1, it's just good to do it. It'll feel good for them. It'll feel good for you. But 2, you'll get to see that one of the things that he did when he went to the nursing home and he was interviewing people about their life, he would see people in regret, right? They got to their end of their life and they said, I wish I would have traveled more. I wish I would have made better relationships. I wish I would have gone for that business that I really wanted to create. I wish. So having regret at the end of your life is one of the worst things because you can never take back that time. So think about that as you're creating these habits. You're creating a long-term idea of what you want. Let's see here. So I got this. I wanted to read it to you guys. I think it's really good. It's from the Fat Loss Habit blog. Can you guys hear my son crying downstairs? So, awareness is the greatest agent for change, said Eckhart Tolle. So at the most basic level, bad habits form when we let our guard down and sleepwalk through our decisions. Bad habits always produce an immediate pleasure, right? Our primitive brain is short-sighted. It only makes linkages of pleasure or pain to the immediate results an action produces. Our greatest gift as human beings is our cerebral cortex, our conscious brain. It allows us to make long-term linkages. All good habits are created by making a conscious decision to link a positive action with their long-term benefits. The most effective way to interrupt a bad habit is to examine it on paper. Solving problems on paper allows us to examine it more dispassionately than we would inside our own head. All habits have 3 elements: a cue, a routine, and a reward. We usually cannot alter the cue, but we can replace our routine with something less detrimental that produces a similar reward. We can interrupt bad habits using the technique described above, but the best strategy is to avoid forming them in the first place by remaining vigilant. Before we allow a bad habit to develop, we must associate the routine with the negative long-term consequences. Progress is always intentional, and it begins with self-awareness. So this is there's a lot of information. If we chop this up a little bit, I would say write down some of the bad habits and link them to the long-term consequences. What are the long-term consequences to smoking cigarettes? We know it's lung cancer. We know it's bad breath, bad skin, aging prematurely, right? What are the long-term, problems with eating too much sugar? It's going to be gaining the weight, and it's going to be providing in our body a more cancer-prone environment for disease to occur if we're eating sugar all the time. So think about the long-term problems with bad habits. And now, what are the good habits and the long-term amazing things that are going to happen in your life by implanting those good habits? If you're meditating 30 minutes a day, wow, the long-term habit, or what is that going to create in your life? A lot of mental clarity, a lot of calm and centeredness, and it's going to create better relationships, a better thinking process. If you have a habit of exercising, you're going to stay fit, lean, in shape, high energy. So think about those things. So here we're going to get into the technology. super cool, you guys. Habit Share app. Okay, Habit Share app. I just downloaded this to my phone. A couple of friends of mine in the fitness industry use this, and they swear by it. You can basically create a list of friends, and your friends will keep you accountable to the process of your habits. How cool is that? Because we all know how important accountability is when making a change. So the cool thing is you can put any habits that you want. Here it says no desserts. It says exercise. It says praying in the morning and reading Spanish for 20 minutes. So cool. Got some habits listed out. You could add in any habits and customize them as you choose. And now it's going to look at, okay, what's your streak? It'll say your streak. How many times have you hit your habit in a row? And then it's going to give you a percentage. And then your friends are going to be dinged so they know how you're doing. So very, very cool. Check that one out. It's called Habit Share app. Another one. This is really cool if you're into like games, if you're into like role-playing games. So this one here is called Habitica. And basically you get a character and you get to level up the character as you go, kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type of a thing. So you want to do family time, you want to read, you want to have 5 vegetables, whatever it is. And then you're going to be able to get points. You're going to be able to get these rewards like little coins, and you can use them to buy things like, you know, a crystal blade sword or a snowflake wand to fight these battles, and to basically it gamifies the situation. So very, very cool, very fun, entirely different approach to habits. I like it. And the last one I wanted to share is this one called the Flora app. It goes along that same concept of the gamification. It makes things fun by gamifying it. You have like a challenge to see who kills this tree, and you're trying not to kill the tree by staying inside of your habits. So I've yet to really play with this one. I want to play with this one, but I encourage you to check it out. And it even has something where you can bet money. See, money talks, right? You can bet some money, and you can put money down with your friends. And then if you lose your habits, then that money goes toward planting an actual tree through the app, which is really cool. It plants a tree somewhere through their organization. So really, really cool. So what habits will you change? I suggest writing a list of 3 to 5 habits that you really want to change, but just start with one. What's one habit that you can change over the next 30 days and really just stick with that one thing? If you could do it one thing each month, imagine where you'll be in 12 months, okay? If you just add one little habit, maybe it's drinking more water, maybe it's reading a self-development book, maybe it's exercising for 5 minutes in the morning, maybe it's yoga or stretching. One habit, okay? Raise your hand if you can commit to just one habit, changing one habit. Raise your hand. That's awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Sean Covey said, depending on what they are, our habits will either make us or break us. So true. I've been broken down by bad habits, and I've been built up by good habits. So it's so true. We become what we repeatedly do. That's who we become. We become our actions. The other day I put this quote, there's this post on Facebook. It was, watch your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions. Your actions become your habits. Your habits become your character, and your character becomes your destiny. Watch your thoughts. So here's your action assignment of the week, is to download the Habit Share app. And you can try one of the other apps too, but download one of those apps and go into the Way of Life Mindset Mastery private group page and ask for a habit buddy. Ask somebody to join you inside of the app, and that way you can keep each other accountable to your habits and just have fun with it. Really, it's about having fun as we're doing something new and improving together. So really cool stuff. Thank you guys so much. You know, a couple things about the mindset training here. We are going to create a membership with this. It's not launched yet. This is kind of like pre-launch stages, but we're gearing up to have a membership where we have a lot of resources for you guys, a lot of ongoing trainings for you guys, and the accountability built in so you actually see real change in your life. It's going to come with weekly live coaching like we're doing now. It'll have a robust video library that you can keep all these mindset trainings for yourself. The private Facebook group page, we'll have the daily rituals binder that you can print out, accountability, community, a weekly action assignment so you actually see the changes in your life. And we'll be doing some different workshops and retreats, which will be really cool. I'll be announcing some coming up. And then we have our Mindset Transformation 12-week course. This is for somebody who really wants to take a step-by-step, paint-by-numbers approach to a mindset that will change their life in just 12 weeks. And it's a video module plus a coaching for 12 weeks. It's $9.99 and it's very transformative. So you can private message me for either one of those if you want to learn more information about that. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to stop the screen share and I want to open up the chat. Let's go ahead and here, each person is going to just share their one takeaway. What did you get out of today's training or anything you'd like to add to the conversation? So I see Martha's on here first. Martha, take it away. You go ahead. What's your takeaway today?
My takeaway is I struggle with this idea of like, I have so many habits that I have to change. I have so many. And so I let that overwhelm me. And so I don't do it.
Yeah.
So my takeaway, I think, is starting with one. Starting with one. So something as simple as drinking more water, which I struggle with.
Yeah.
And then working on that because that's just one step closer. And they're habits that I have to work on. So yes. So my takeaway is don't feel overwhelmed by how many things you feel like you need to implement or change, because every single one you start working on is just one step closer.
Yes. Nice. Awesome, Martha. And I love that. Just like something simple like drinking water. See, I think we look at habits like drinking water, or maybe it's like cleaning my car, right? Let me keep my car clean, right? Something simple like that. But what we don't see though is that it has an overlapping effect to other areas of our life. Just something as simple as drinking more water can have a profound effect on your life. Just sticking with that one thing. For one, you are telling your brain, yes, I can make a change. And when I desire to make a change, I can shift into a new habit. And so it reinforces that belief inside yourself to create those wins. And it kind of like closes the loop inside your mind that says, you know what? Anything I put my mind to, I can create. So that's powerful in and of itself. But then there's the health benefit of drinking the water, right? You're going to feel more energy. You're not going to be dehydrated. You're going to, it makes fat loss easier, just makes health better. So big deal. Something seemingly small is not small. So perfect. Start with one thing, Martha. Thank you for that. One thing. Excellent. Let's hear from, great to see you, by the way, Martha. Kathy Cook, let's have your one takeaway. What is your takeaway, Kathy?
Well, pretty much the same as Martha. I get super hyped up on doing whatever it is I want to do and implementing 50 new habits and keeping up with it for a short time, and then it all falls apart. So same thing, starting small, building on things. Although like I'm kind of curious, like so I would like to set a new exercise goal and make that a habit. So what would a cue for that be? Like I get the habit loop, but
so the cue could be something in your day, right? So maybe it's, waking up. You can attach it to the cue of waking up in the morning, and then you get it first thing after you wake up is you exercise. A lot of people do that. They tie in the cue of starting their day with exercising because they want to get it done, get out of the way, and not think about it for the rest of the day. Another, so I recommend tying it to some part, because exercise takes a certain amount of time. You need 30 minutes to an hour or whatever it might be. So, I recommend a cue that's tied into your overall daily schedule when it comes to exercise. If it was drinking more water, that's different, but if it's doing something that takes a considerable amount of time investment, like exercise does, what is a part of your day that you can attach it to routine wise? So what would you say you can attach it to? What part of your daily routine can you attach it to? So it becomes right after or right before something else.
Lunch probably would be easiest for me.
Okay, great. How long do you get for lunch?
Well, I work for myself, so as long as I want.
Hey, so your biggest thing is to put it into your schedule and write it in as if you're making an appointment with yourself, and make that the highest priority appointment that you could possibly make. Usually we make it our workouts our lowest priority. In this case, make it your highest priority. Say to yourself, if this doesn't happen, nothing else happens. This is my most important thing, my exercise. And then use the Habit app to then reinforce the accountability inside of there, and have accountability buddies. So that's super
Yeah,
powerful.
I use Habit Bowl, but I like the idea of this one where you can have your friends in there.
Yeah. Because the power of knowing that there's a human being on the other side, it psychologically triggers something in us. Because a lot of times human beings are weird. We'll do things more for other people than we do for ourselves.
Yes.
I don't know why we do that, but that's just one of the things that we do. So why not use that knowledge to our advantage and get the accountability buddies working with us? We're helping them, they're helping us. Good thing. So great. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you.
All right. Who else? We got 2 more people on the line. Cynthia, you want to go?
Yes. So my takeaway is that only 8%.
I can't see your pretty face, Cynthia. I can't see your pretty face on there. Where are you? Oh, there you are.
Hi. I didn't know. So my takeaway was that only 8%. I did not know you could see me, guys. Only 8% of people reach the New Year's goal. I would like to be part of that 8% this year, but I think I really need to dissect my bad habits and really look at the long-term aspect of my really bad habits.
Yeah.
Because I know they're bad, but I don't think about them. I kind of brush them off. I put them in the back of my head because
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I already know they're bad. So I
Yeah.
think I need to write down all my bad habits and really dissect them and just start focusing on making better habits, but realistic better habits.
Yes. And that's where journaling would come in. That's perfect. I love that. So by dissecting the bad habits, see, humans make decisions based on our associations with pain and pleasure. Okay, pain and pleasure. So whatever we associate pain and pleasure with, if we associate enough pain with a bad habit, then that's going to create us a decision to push that away. If we associate enough pleasure with replacing the good habit, then we're going to be excited and pulled into doing whatever it is that we want to do for our health or whatever that may be. So that is perfect. Let's join that 8% club. 8% club, Cynthia. Woo-hoo.
Yes.
Awesome. And we have one more. Is it Yvonne? Who else is on the line?
It's me.
Tanya, you're still here all the way from Canada?
I'm still here.
All right, Tanya.
Just had to turn the video off so you didn't see me yawning the whole time because it's a bit late here.
What time is it?
11:11.
Wow, you get the brownie points, Tanya. That's amazing. All the way from Canada and all the way at 11 o'clock. That means you're prioritizing your mindset. Great job. What is your one takeaway
Yes.
today?
Same as the first two, just implementing one thing at a time, because like them I will implement 2 or 3 and it works for a bit and then you fall right off and back where you started.
Yes, perfect. So I recommend taking the energy that we have right now, and going into the Facebook group page, the Mindset Mastery page, and putting down what is your one thing that you're going to change. What's the one habit that you want to work on? The drinking more water, the exercise, staying away from sugar. You're going to break a habit. What is it? Put it down, commit to it now while you have the energy. Don't wait for later, because life will creep back in and take over. And then download that app and take action right away. Put the habit in there and just start working on it right away. And just, ride the wave of energy. Once it is a habit, then it's effortless. But to get it started, you got to push. You got to get the snow plow, Tanya, the snow plow, and you push the snow out of the driveway. And then you'll have the sunshine will come out. So excellent job, Tanya. Excellent job. Well done, everybody. Have a wonderful night. Sleep well. Stay warm in Canada. And don't forget to put your... Oh, hey, Dimitri. How you doing? What's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. All right, everybody. Don't forget, go into the Facebook page, put in your habit. I'll talk to everyone soon. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye, Coach.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye-bye.